Let me tell you something. You've been giving too much energy to things that don't serve you. Too many people are distracted, chasing validation, trying to prove something to folks who don't even care. But listen to me, your destiny doesn't require an audience. The greatest transformations happen in silence. The real work, it happens behind closed doors. When nobody's watching, the late nights, the early mornings, the sacrifices, the self-discipline. See, too many people talk about what they're going to do instead of just doing it. They announce every little step, and then they wonder why they never see progress. Because power moves are made in private. The loudest person in the room is usually the weakest, but the one who stays silent, focused, and locked in, that's the person who wins. That's the one who goes from overlooked to undeniable. That's the one who steps into their calling. Too many people are waiting for permission to be great. They hesitate looking around for validation, approval, or applause before they take action. But the truth is, your destiny doesn't require an audience. It doesn't need everyone to understand. It doesn't need a fan club. It only needs you to commit, to believe, and to move forward, even if you have to move alone. The problem is, most people feel uncomfortable without external validation. They want someone to tell them they're on the right path. They want confirmation that their dream makes sense to others. But let me tell you something. Most of the time, people won't see what you see. They won't believe in your vision because it wasn't given to them, it was given to you. And if you're constantly waiting for others to approve of what's inside you, you'll waste years standing still while you should be running toward your destiny. Every great person who has ever achieved something significant had to first walk a lonely road. They had to endure the season of silence, the season where nobody clapped, nobody noticed, and nobody believed. It's in that season that most people quit, not because they lack talent or ability, but because they mistakenly believe that silence means failure. But it doesn't. Silence means preparation. Silence means growth. Silence means you are being molded into the person who can handle what you're asking for. This is why you cannot afford to live for the applause. Applause fades, validation is fleeting, and if your confidence is built on the approval of others, then the moment they stop clapping, you'll stop believing. But when your confidence is built on purpose, nothing can shake you. When your belief in yourself comes from within, you don't need an audience because you already know what's inside you is real. You don't need proof. You are the proof. The world will always have something to say. Some people will doubt you because they can't see what you see. Others will try to discourage you because they're afraid of what you'll become. And some will remain silent, not because they don't see your potential, but because they don't want to acknowledge it. But none of that matters. Their opinion doesn't hold power over your destiny. What does hold power is your ability to stay committed, to stay locked in, and to keep moving even when no one is watching. Too often people give up right before their breakthrough because they don't see immediate results. They let the silence convince them that nothing is happening. But growth isn't always loud. Transformation isn't always obvious. Seeds grow underground long before they break through the surface. And just because people can't see what's happening in your life doesn't mean God isn't working behind the scenes. Your destiny is unfolding even in the quiet seasons. This is why you must be careful with how much you share. Not everyone deserves access to your vision. Some people will try to discourage you, not because they want to help, but because they don't want to see you succeed. Others will try to plant doubt in your mind simply because they don't have the courage to chase their own dreams. Protect your vision, guard your focus. Let people speculate, let them wonder, let them question, but don't feel the need to explain. Your future is not dependent on public approval. It's not determined by how many people believe in you. The only thing that matters is whether you believe in yourself enough to keep going. Keep building, keep pushing, and keep growing, because one day, the same people who doubted you will look around and realize you never needed their applause to win. Success isn't built in the spotlight. It's built in the quiet hours when no one is watching. The people who make the biggest impact, the ones who rise to the top, understand that power moves are made in private. They know that the real work, the transformation, the breakthroughs all happen behind the scenes long before the world ever takes notice. It's the discipline, the sacrifice, and the relentless focus that separate the successful from the spectators. Most people crave attention. They want the world to know what they're working on, what their next move is, what they're about to accomplish. But the problem with announcing every step is that it exposes your plans to unnecessary noise, doubt, distractions, and even opposition. When you reveal too much, too soon, you invite opinions from people who were never meant to have a say in your journey. And worse, you risk losing momentum because you've spent more energy talking about the work instead of actually doing it. The ones who truly succeed understand the power of silence. They don't waste time broadcasting their goals, they execute. They make strategic moves, build strong foundations, and sharpen their skills in private. While others are seeking validation, they are creating undeniable results. They know that when the work is real, the results will speak for themselves. There's no need to explain, defend, or convince, because success is its own proof. The private grind is where character is built. It's where discipline is tested. It's where the weak give up and the strong push forward. Anyone can talk about their ambitions, but only a few are willing to put in the hours, to endure the discomfort, to embrace the loneliness that comes with working towards something great. This is why so many people stay average. They're not willing to do what it takes when nobody is clapping, when nobody is watching, when there's no instant gratification. The truth is, most people are uncomfortable with silence. They feel the need to prove something, to show off their progress, to gain recognition. But the most powerful moves are the ones no one sees coming. When you move in silence, you eliminate resistance. You protect your vision. You free yourself from the pressure of external expectations, allowing yourself to focus completely on execution. And by the time people realize what you've built, it's already too late for them to stop it. Think about the most successful individuals in any industry. They don't announce every decision before it happens. They don't let their emotions dictate their strategy. They move deliberately, wisely, and without unnecessary noise. They master the art of preparation, knowing that what happens behind closed doors will determine what the world eventually sees. They don't rush to prove themselves because they understand that real power comes from results, not words. This is why patience and discipline are so important. The work you put in today may not be recognized immediately, but that doesn't mean it's in vain. Every great achievement requires a period of silent effort where the sacrifices go unnoticed, where the struggles are invisible, where the progress is slow. But when the foundation is strong, when the preparation is thorough, the success that follows is undeniable. And by the time the world takes notice, you're already 10 steps ahead. The greatest victories are won before the battle even begins. The groundwork, the strategy, the preparation, all of it happens in private. Those who understand this don't seek applause, don't chase approval, and don't waste time proving themselves. They focus, they build, and they let the results do the talking. Distractions are the enemy of progress. Every second you spend entertaining distractions is a second stolen from your purpose. The people who achieve greatness aren't necessarily the smartest or the most talented. They are the ones who have mastered the ability to lock in, cut out the noise, and stay focused on what truly matters. They understand that the world is filled with temptations designed to pull them away from their mission, and they refuse to give in. The biggest mistake people make is believing they can entertain distractions and still expect success. They waste hours scrolling through social media, watching meaningless content, engaging in pointless conversations, and then wonder why they feel stuck. They let small, insignificant things steal their energy, not realizing that every distraction comes with a cost. The mind is like a bank. Whatever you deposit into it will determine what you withdraw. If you keep feeding it distractions, don't expect to withdraw focus, creativity, or success. Most distractions don't appear as threats at first. They disguise themselves as entertainment, as socializing, as relaxation. But over time, they chip away at your potential, keeping you comfortable, keeping you entertained, but never letting you move forward. Success requires sacrifice. It requires the ability to say no to anything that doesn't align with your vision. That means cutting off habits, conversations, and sometimes even people who are not pushing you toward your goals. Your environment plays a critical role in your ability to stay focused. If you surround yourself with people who lack ambition, who waste time, who gossip and complain, their mindset will begin to infect yours. Energy is contagious, and if you're not careful, you'll find yourself adopting the same patterns that are keeping them stagnant. If you truly want to elevate, you need to protect your mind like your future depends on it, because it does. That means being intentional about what you consume, who you spend time with, and what you allow to take up space in your thoughts. There will always be distractions trying to pull you away from your path. Some will come in the form of negativity, people who doubt you, criticize you, or try to plant fear in your mind. Others will come disguised as opportunities that seem good on the surface, but don't actually align with your purpose. And then there are the distractions you create yourself. Procrastination, self-doubt, overthinking. These are the most dangerous because they come from within. You must train yourself to recognize when your own mind is working against you and develop the discipline to push through. The most successful people in the world are not the ones with the least distractions. They are the ones with the most discipline. They have the same temptations, the same challenges, the same external noise, but they refuse to let it control them. They create routines that keep them locked in. They set boundaries that protect their focus. They don't waste time explaining their choices to people who don't understand their vision, because they know that every moment spent justifying themselves is a moment stolen from their progress. If you want to reach the next level, you have to start treating your time like your most valuable asset. Every time you say yes to a distraction, you are saying no to your dreams. Every time you allow something unimportant to steal your attention, you are pushing your success further away. It takes brutal honesty to admit how much time is being wasted on things that don't matter. But once you recognize it, you have the power to change it. The ability to eliminate distractions and stay focused is what separates those who talk about success from those who actually achieve it. The process of cutting off distractions isn't always easy. It requires self-awareness, discipline, and the willingness to be different from the people around you. But the reward is undeniable. A level of clarity, productivity, and success that most people will never experience. Not everyone in your life is meant to go where you're going. Some people are only in your life for a season, and if you're not careful, you'll spend so much time trying to hold on to the wrong people that you slow yourself down. Growth requires separation. Elevation requires discernment. Not everyone deserves a front row seat in your life. Some people are meant to watch from a distance, and some are not meant to watch at all. One of the biggest mistakes you can make is trying to bring everyone along on your journey. You want people to see your progress, to understand your vision, to support you the way you think they should. But the reality is, some people will never be able to handle your growth. They were comfortable with who you used to be, but now that you're evolving, it threatens their sense of security. They liked you when you were struggling, when you were doubting yourself, when you were playing small. But now that you're stepping into something greater, they start to change. The energy shifts. The conversations feel different. And if you're not careful, you'll find yourself shrinking just to make them comfortable. There are people in your life who are only there because of access, not because of alignment. They like what they can get from you, but they don't truly support where you're going. These are the people who smile in your face, but secretly hope you fail. The ones who act like they want the best for you, but the moment you start doing better than them, their support turns into silence. Pay attention to the pattern. The people who celebrate you when you struggle, but disappear when you succeed, are not your people. Then there are those who drain your energy, always needing something but never pouring back into you. They come with problems, negativity, and drama, but never with solutions. Every conversation leaves you feeling exhausted, unfocused, and unmotivated. These are the people who don't just take up space in your life, they take up space in your mind. And if you allow them to stay in your inner circle, they will slowly drain the energy you need to build the life you're working for. When you give the wrong people front row seats in your life, you create unnecessary obstacles for yourself. Instead of focusing on your growth, you waste energy explaining yourself to people who will never understand. Instead of moving forward, you get caught up in distractions that don't serve you. Some people are meant to be left in the audience watching from a distance, while others are meant to be completely removed from your space. It's not about being cold or ruthless. It's about protecting your peace, your energy, and your focus. As you grow, your circle will get smaller, and that's a good thing. The people who truly belong in your life won't be threatened by your success. They'll be inspired by it. They won't compete with you. They'll support you. They won't secretly hope you fail. They'll push you to go even further. The right people won't need constant explanations, and they won't feel entitled to your time. They will understand that you are on a mission and respect the boundaries you set to protect that mission. Letting go of the wrong people isn't always easy. Some of them have been in your life for years. Some of them have shared good times with you. But longevity doesn't equal loyalty, and history doesn't mean alignment. If keeping someone close is costing you your peace, your focus, or your potential, it's a price too high to pay. The people in your front row should be those who encourage, challenge, and push you toward your purpose, not those who hold you back. The sooner you learn to evaluate who deserves access to you, the sooner you'll start moving at the speed you were meant to move. Your vision is too big, your calling is too great, and your purpose is too important to waste time on people who don't belong in your front row. Too many people waste their energy trying to prove themselves to others. They argue with doubters, explain themselves to skeptics, and try to convince people who were never meant to believe in them in the first place. But the truth is, words don't build success, results do. When you focus on producing undeniable results, you no longer need to defend yourself. You no longer need to respond to criticism. You no longer need to prove anything to anyone, because when the work is real, the results speak for themselves. The loudest person in the room is often the least accomplished. They talk about what they're going to do, they make bold claims, they seek attention, but when it comes time to deliver, there's nothing to show. On the other hand, the most successful people don't spend time talking, they don't announce their every move, they don't try to impress with words, they let their work do the talking. They let their results command the respect that others try to demand through noise. In today's world where everyone wants instant recognition, it's tempting to broadcast your journey. Social media has created an environment where people seek validation before they've even put in the work. But success doesn't come from likes, comments, or opinions. It comes from effort, consistency, and results. While others are busy seeking attention, the truly focused are busy building something worth noticing. They are putting in the hours, sharpening their skills, and creating value, knowing that when the time is right, their work will be undeniable. People may doubt you in the beginning. They may question your abilities, mock your ambition, or act like you don't have what it takes. But success doesn't require an argument, it requires proof. Instead of wasting time explaining your vision, use that time to execute it. Instead of responding to critics, use that energy to sharpen your craft. Instead of trying to convince people to believe in you, believe in yourself so deeply that their opinions become irrelevant. Because the moment your results start showing, the same people who doubted you will have no choice but to acknowledge what you've built. Letting your results speak also means embracing patience. Success is a process, and results don't come overnight. There will be times when it feels like no one notices your effort, like your progress is too slow, like your work is being overlooked. But real success is built in the moments when no one is watching. It's in the long nights, the early mornings, the quiet sacrifices that nobody sees. The results may take time, but when they arrive, they will be undeniable. Your work is your legacy. Not your words, not your opinions, not your promises, your work. The people who make the biggest impact are the ones who let their actions create their reputation. They don't have to convince anyone of their greatness because their results make it obvious. They don't need to chase validation because success speaks louder than words. They move differently because they understand that real power doesn't come from being heard, it comes from being seen. When you focus on results, you free yourself from unnecessary distractions. You stop wasting time on debates. You stop worrying about what others think, and you stop letting outside opinions dictate your path. You become so locked in on your mission that nothing else matters. And when that level of focus is combined with relentless execution, success becomes inevitable. The ones who doubted will watch in silence. The ones who ignored you will take notice. And the ones who try to hold you back will realize they never had the power to stop you. Results don't lie. They don't need explanations. They don't require validation. They simply exist as proof of the work that was done. When you focus on execution, when you stay consistent, when you refuse to be distracted by opinions, your results will do all the talking for you. And when your results speak, the world will have no choice but to listen. Powerful moves are never announced. They are executed. The loudest person in the room is rarely the most successful because those who truly understand how to win know that silence is a weapon. When you move in silence, you eliminate interference. You remove distractions, protect your vision, and give yourself the freedom to build without unnecessary pressure. The world doesn't need to know your every step, and the moment you realize that, you take control of your destiny. Most people feel the need to talk about what they're doing, what they're planning, what they're about to accomplish. But talking doesn't produce results. Execution does. Every time you announce your next move, you invite opinions, doubts, and distractions that slow you down. Some people will try to discourage you. Others will secretly hope you fail, and some will even attempt to sabotage you. Not everyone who listens to your plans wants to see you succeed. So that's why the most powerful moves are the ones no one sees coming. Silence gives you an advantage. When people don't know what you're working on, they can't interfere. They can't copy your ideas. They can't throw obstacles in your way. And they can't distract you with negativity. Instead of spending energy explaining yourself, you can put all that energy into building, refining, and executing. When you finally reveal what you've been working on, it won't be through words, it will be through undeniable success. The strongest individuals and the most successful leaders don't waste time announcing their intentions. They are too busy taking action. They don't seek approval, they don't need validation, and they don't chase applause. They understand that results are the only proof that matters. The moment you stop looking for recognition and start focusing purely on execution, you will move differently. Your priorities will shift, your mindset will elevate, and your ability to produce results will increase. Moving in silence doesn't mean playing small, it means playing smart. It means being strategic, intentional, and disciplined. It means understanding that every goal requires a period of quiet preparation before it becomes a reality. Just like a seed grows underground before it ever breaks through the surface, success is built in private long before it is seen in public. If you skip the silent phase, you weaken the foundation, and a weak foundation cannot hold great success. Discipline is what separates those who talk from those who achieve. The ones who rise to the top are not the ones who make the most noise. They are the ones who stay consistent, put in the work, and execute with power. They are focused, they are relentless, and they are not concerned with opinions. They don't waste time convincing people of their worth because they understand that real value doesn't need to be explained, it needs to be demonstrated. When you move in silence, you also develop an inner strength that cannot be shaken. You stop relying on external motivation and learn to push yourself. You stop seeking outside approval and start trusting yourself. You build confidence, resilience, and an unshakable belief in your ability to win. And when the results start to show, you won't have to say a word because your success will speak louder than anything you could ever say. Those who move in silence and execute with power always have the upper hand. They are focused, strategic, and unstoppable. They don't let distractions, negativity, or opinions slow them down.